that is a sample from a track called Smilin' Billy Sweet Part 1 by the Heath Brothers, and it's made up of 3 parts. So you have the vibraphone at the top, you have these piano chords in the middle, which I'm playing with the vibraphone sound because these 2 parts overlap, but that's a piano in the original. And then at the bottom, you have an upright bass. So let's analyze those parts one by one, starting with the bass and then going up. So the first half of the bass line is based on a 7th on A. So octave A would be this, tone less than an octave is a 7th, so that's A up to G. And then each of those notes is getting approached by the note a semitone below. So instead of it just being A going to G, we have, so the first half of the bass line is based on these 4 notes, which again is a 7th on A, and each note is approached from a semitone below. And then the bassist is just playing around with those 4 notes rhythmically. Then the second half of the bass line is based on a 7th on F instead. So again, it's an octave F, tone less than an octave is a 7th. And again, those 2 notes are approached from a semitone below. So instead of it just being F and E flat, you have, and then again, those 4 notes are just varied rhythmically. And then it goes back to the first bit, 7th on A, and then back to 7th on F. So that is the bass line, basically 7th on A, 7th on F. Let's move on to the piano chords. Again, I'm playing them with a vibraphone sound. So there are just 2 chords in the piano part. First one is this, which looks like a straight C major triad. However, the bass note is an A. So if we move this A up a couple of octaves and put it together with that chord, we can see that actually this is an A minor 7 chord, root 3rd, 5th, 7th. So the first chord is A minor 7. Then the second piano chord is this, and that is going over an F bass note. So again, moving that F up 2 octaves, you get this chord. It's not that easy to recognize. It is almost this chord, which is more straightforward. That would be F7, but instead we've taken the 5th and moved it up a tone. And a tone above a 5th on a dominant chord is a 13th. I won't get too much into 13th chords, but if you really want to work it out, so we have F bass note, that's an octave. Tone above an octave is a 9th. 3rd above a 9th is an 11th. 3rd above an 11th is a 13th. So that D is a 13th. But really the easiest way to think about 13th chord is the 13th is just a tone above a 5th. You start with just a straight 7th chord, raise the 5th by tone, you get a 13th. So that is F13. And they are the 2 chords in the whole sample, just A minor 7, F13. So lastly, let us look at the vibraphone part at the top. So this is mostly just using the first 4 notes of an A minor scale. So an A minor scale, these are the first 4 notes, and it sometimes hits the flat 5th of the scale, which is an E flat. So 5th note of A minor is usually E, but instead we have an E flat. So it's kind of mostly based on A minor with a flat 5th, and most characteristically the vibraphone part, vibraphone's more wooden, the vibraphone part is hanging around this B a lot. Keeps on coming back to this B even when the bass changes. So this B affects the harmony a little bit. If we put this B on top of the first chord, that was A minor 7, and then put a B at the top, it actually changes it into an A minor 9 chord. So the easiest way of seeing that is start with an A minor triad, and then put this octave A up here. So tone below an octave is a 7th, and tone above an octave is a 9th. That produces an A minor 9 chord. And then when the bass changes, this changes the harmony again. So instead of it being an F13 chord, which is complicated enough, we now have a sharp 11th. So if you want to work that out, that's an octave. Tone above an octave is a ninth. Third above a ninth would be an 11th, and this is a sharp 11th. But the easiest way of thinking of a sharp 11th is that it's a semitone less than a fifth. So that's root third fifth of the chord. Take the fifth down a semitone, you get a sharp 11th. Anyway, this is jazz harmony. If you're not familiar with jazz harmony, that's going to be super complicated. But if you don't know jazz harmony yet, that might make you curious enough to learn more about it. So basically with the vibraphone part, we're going from A minor 9 to F13 with a sharp 11th. Kind of complicated chord, but it sounds good. And putting all of that together, we get